100 kilograms sand, 25 kilograms cement, 1.5 buckets of water. That's the mixture that I've used to render, that I'm going to be rendering the wall. Get it all in your barrow and prepare to take it to the job in hand. I'm going to be rendering in this section only one section here. Can you see 3 square meters of wall? There's some that I did yesterday. You can see the downrights. Can you see them there? They're like studs. I'll be rendering in between each of those. I did those yesterday. They are 2 centimeters, 2.5 centimeters thick, indicated by a finger. They are levelled down, plumbed, and what I did, I placed a string line from right to left. I'm going to show you now. A nail with a piece of string spanning all the way down to the very far end of the wall. And you just see they all match. Okay, the tools I've got is a bucket of water, and the instrument that I'm making wet, I'm not making the handle wet, only the metal, is a pan. This pan can hold short of 1 kilogram, maybe, I don't know, maybe 1 bag of sugar. A pound. 1/2 kilogram. I will be using a trowel. You'll see that later on. Now there's a very special technique for using a pan. Some people might want to use a trowel. Here, this is my staff. It's a piece of soft wood. It's always got cement on it. I just chip it off in preparation for this time to use it. Now from left to right of the section where I'm throwing cement, I'm throwing from that section to the right hand side where the staff is, the wooden staff. The wooden staff must be longer than the edges. So if it's 2 meters wide, the staff needs to be 2.5 meters. You'll see what I'm saying in just a moment when I use the staff. Now all you need to do really is half load your pan with your mixture and sling it on the wall. Never ever worry if the mixture falls on the floor. Just scoop it up after you've got a nice little pile, pop it back into your wheelbarrow. Here we go with the staff. Press the staff against the 2 edges, slide from left to right and up at the same time. You'll have mixture left on your staff. Get it back in the barrel ready to use. Sling it on. Get those blobs on. I'm going to show you in just a few moments how I'm actually using the pan, because I'm not just loading the pan and slinging it on the wall. There is actually a technique. As you can see, each blob size that I'm putting on is around the size of a palm or a full hand. It's always a good idea not to let each blob join yet, because in 5 minutes time each one of these blobs will dry. Here we go. Technique. Think rainbow. As you go, as you sling, you pull your pan in a downward motion, which helps the mixture leave the pan. Watch. There you go. So as I was saying, don't let the blobs join yet, because each one will dry after around 5 minutes. And you can fill in each of the areas that have no blobs of cement at a later date. Now this is a tricky area. It's above head height, and it's a little bit difficult to do when you're using a pan. When it is head height, you'll find that a lot of the cement mixture will fall back onto the floor. Don't worry about that. because as long as you've got your splash plate on the floor, I'm using a large piece of plastic. Collect it all back up, pop it in your wheelbarrow, and if it's been about 5 minutes since you collected last, I want to point out, did you see that cement, I threw it up into the air and caught it in the pan? It won't leave the pan. It doesn't leave the pan because of the suction between the cement and the metal pan. So I've done a little bit more of the wall here. As you can see, there's still a lot of gaps need to be filled in. I'm going to be concentrating next on the centre section. And now in fast mode, because you've already seen how to throw it on. But you can see now the cement is much thicker than is needed. Just scrape it off. Scrape it off. As I say, I'm going to be concentrating at waist height just for now, so that you can get a good idea of what the second coat can look like. Oh, it's time for coffee. You see, I'm having to do a lot of walking now. Bring the wheelbarrow closer to the job. Here we go. The middle section's now had a second coat. It is still rough looking in the centre, but at this stage I'm not wanting to get a perfect look. All I'm doing is filling in the section. Now I did collect a little bit more material from the floor. I added a little bit of water and give it a little mix. Remember to clean your staff off every now and again. If any cement is dried on your staff, it will make marks in the cement that you put on. But for the first and second coat, that's okay if you do leave marks, because it leaves a key for your third and final layer. So now the bottom and the middle section is complete with the second coat. As you can see here now, the top section is finished with the second coat, but I'm filling in the gaps at the top. Now I'm using a trowel to sling on the material as opposed to the pan. The reason for this is I don't want the cement to go over into the neighbour's wall and splash his driveway. Obviously the neighbour will be quite upset with that, and besides I don't want to give him anything for free. Just be careful in slinging it on. Your staff will cut it in right up to the top. And to finish it off, there is one other instrument which is made of softwood. It's always good to use about the same size as your forearm. Here it is. Has a big handle. I made this last year. I'm going to make it wet. Because it's softwood, it'll soak up the water. Pop it onto the wall and rub. Just rub gently. So tomorrow, the final coat. I'll mix the final sand and cement in the wheelbarrow, but I'll be putting a lot more water in this time. What happens is I'll do exactly the same technique, sling it on. This time it will splash on as opposed to blob on the wall, and rub with the same instrument that I'm using there, and it'll be fantastic. Good luck with your job. I'd like to finish off by saying, when you do put the final coat of wet mix and you spread it on with the instrument that I'm using here, make sure that you put plenty of material on and wipe it off. Let it fall on the floor, but be sure to cover the studs at the same time at the sides. This will give a nice clean finish from one